Hi and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm super excited to finally be back with a card tutorial for you. This is a card featuring some of the new products from Sizzix. I'm starting off by using a die set called Summertimes. And if you could see, I had written some words on a piece of paper that I kept in this plastic bag or container that keeps the dies together. That is some of the ideas I have with this die set to create some products, and I do that for all of my new dies and stamps that I get, that I keep a piece of paper where I think out products that I want to create, and then I do it when I have time to do it. Because sometimes you have a flow and you have many ideas of things you want to do, and that is a good tip if you're like me that forgets what you were thinking that you were going to do with something. So that is how I do it. I just ran all of these dies through my Sizzix Big Shot machine a couple of times with all the dies, so I have a good arrangement of dies, and I use some Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock, and that is a smooth cardstock, and that is good because we're gonna do some inking techniques on top of this. If you can see my camera shaking here, I apologize. I have a new camera that I'm testing out and see if I like the result of these videos, if they are better than my last ones, but the arrangement with the camera, how it's set up, it's not perfect yet, so it shakes a little bit when I'm shaking the desk. So it's hopefully will be getting better when I get a better position on the camera. So I'm sorry about that. As you can see, I started off here by inking up all of those die cut pieces that we created. I am using a couple of different distress inks here. It's mustard seed, peacock feathers, cracked pistachio, and worn lipstick. That is some of my favorite color combinations that I'm using. And I'm sorry if you hear something in the background. It's my baby girl getting ready to go to bed with her father. And if you can see, I'm sorry about the glare from the lights there, but if you can see to the left in the screen, you will see a plastic container. Inside of that I have all my mini distress inks, and I have them in a plastic drawer that is, I think it's 1 inch high, or maybe 1 inch high, and that is the perfect size for all ink cubes, and even the bigger ink pads fits perfectly inside of these ones. So that is how I'm storing it, and maybe you could take that idea and do something similar, and I'm sorry, I really like that idea. And now comes the fun part where you get the chance to arrange all of those images that you have colored in. As you can see, I'm doing this quite randomly. Two things that I'm thinking about when I'm doing this is to keep them not the same color families at the same place. So I'm trying to spread out the pink and the green and the blue and the yellow so they don't all connect together. And one more thing that I'm thinking about is the direction of all of these dies. I have I have all in, I don't know how to explain this in English, but maybe you can see I have all them in the same angle. So they are upwards or backwards, or they are not turning or being totally random, because I think that would be too much. So I try to have a schedule or a plan for them so they don't go everywhere. I'm sorry if I'm not good at explaining it, but maybe you could see on the screen how I'm thinking when I'm arranging these ones. And as you can see, I didn't do exactly as my plan was. I actually, when I got to adhering stuff, I took some away and moved them around. But I liked how it turned out anyway. And as you can see, some of these images that I cut off, I'm gonna reuse and adhere again, just to make sure that it looks like this pattern is continuing outside of this card. And by the way, the card base for this card is a light blue one, so I didn't use a white one. And I think that is a good thing if you're creating something like this, to have a little bit more of an interest in the background. So for the focal point and for the sentiment, I'm using a die set called Concentric circles. Maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I will link it down below. And I also used the hello from this, the first die set that I showed in this video, where all the other images is from. And I'm using the negative piece from that die cut just to keep this in place, and I adhere them together, the vellum piece and the gold letters with some washi tape, and now I can just peel it off and use a tool to keep them in place, and there we go. We have perfect placement between these. So there is where I want to assemble this and adhere it to the card base, and I wanted some dimension, but I wanted it to be clear. You can use some clear foam tape. I don't know what it's called in English, but I could see if I can find some. I don't have any in my stash, I just seen other people use it. But I have some glue dots, and they give a little bit of a dimension, and they are clear, and I could hide them pretty well behind those letters. So that is what I decided to do, so just to create a little bit of a race between the background and the vellum sentiment. So now I'm coating all of these images that I colored in with some Spectrum Noir shimmer pen, and I just like that subtle effect that it gives. It's really beautiful in real life. And then I'm going over and filling in some of these spots with some nouveau crystal drops, and this the color I'm using are Caribbean Ocean, Dandelion Lemon, and the last one is the pink one called Carnational Pink. These are some of my favorite colors of the nouveau drops. I really like them. And when they have dried, they have to dry a couple of hours, then I can pick it up and send it into the mail, and I hope that this card brightens somebody's day. If you're interested in any of the products that I use, I will link them down below, and you can also check out my blog where it's more photos and still shots of this card. I hope you got inspired to use some die cuts and maybe do some coloring, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!